If any competence at any time is needed for a manager to effect a change easily and seamlessly with minimal resistance, it is adaptability. And let me tell you, adaptability requires two major things. One is flexibility. Flexibility to take into account multiple perspectives on a given situation. There is no issue that don't have multiple ways to look at it. There is no issue that don't have a multiple viewpoint. No issue. Just like the case we talked about is the man who could not open up to his friend and told him that he's going through investigation because of the relationship we have with the governor's wife. Now, there are angles of looking at that, but the man did not explore them. He just let it go like that, only because he has problem with emotional intelligence. He has problem with rapport. Flexibility in turn depends on emotional strength. You have emotional strength. Remember what Andy Groovy said? Yes, I have remembered that man's name. His name is Andy Groovy. Andy Groovy. That is the Intel MD in the 70s. Yeah, that is Andy Groovy. Now, he said that when all assumptions, visions, mission, and what a company stands for, including their business, that only one ability can set the organization, and it is how the top management handles their emotion. You see sometimes when there is a fire outbreak in market, this and that, you see some people throwing themselves inside the fire. What is really happening? Emotional stress to bear what is going on. Now, what determines who succeeds and who didn't see himself have to do with emotional strength. Emotional strength. And emotional strength is one of the three G's of life. There are four capabilities that will teach you that before you go to say. One of them has to do with emotional intelligence. Among four capabilities, we have body capabilities, that is body intelligence, IQ, intellectual intelligence, which is mind intelligence. Then we have also what we call spiritual intelligence. The fourth one is emotional intelligence. I said that this flexibility in turn depends on emotional strength, the ability to stay comfortable with ambiguity and remain calm in the face of the unexpected. The second point that this adaptability entails is it is supported by self-confidence, particularly the sureness that allows someone to quickly adjust their response, even dropping everything without reservation as reality shifts. In life, reality shifts. So self-confidence makes you to hold your peace. The next point that we talked about before I come back again and begin to look at some other things in a holistic manner, or even to add more, is the point I call innovation. Innovation. Now, you should be familiar, and this is another case study here. You should be familiar with a company called Levi Strauss. Maybe you have one of their accounts. You know a company called Levi Strauss? It's a garment company, one of the biggest garment companies in the world. You know Zara?
Yes.
You have Zara dress?
Yes.
Okay. But you don't have the Levi Strauss. They are fashion company.
Oh.
The way Zara is a fashion company.
Yes.
Levi Strauss is a fashion company.
I've not heard of Levi Strauss. I've heard of
But you know Gucci.
Yes.
GT, you know Dodge and Cotton. You know them. Why didn't you know Levi Strauss?
I've not heard of Levi Strauss, but I've seen Levi. I just Levi. I don't know if it's
the Strauss.
Okay.
Levi Strauss is one of the biggest garment companies in the world.
They make nice things.
Yes, I think they are also in every kind of fashion. Any fashion company that is not in gin, what are they? It's like gin is just the answer roll call. Now, this company faced a dilemma, a predicament, a very serious one, regarding two of their sewing subcontractors who were using child laborers in Bangladesh. So, they were accused by an international human rights activist for using child labor. That is using people that are underage. The law call it child labor. So they pressure Levi Strauss to stop allowing contractors to use the underage. The company investigators discovered that if the underage lost their job, they would be impoverished, especially in a place like Bangladesh. Cost of living is too low. That the underage, if they lost their job, they would be impoverished and they may be driven into prostitution. So, should Levi Strauss fire them, they will lose their job. In a principled stance against child labor, which also is not good. In either way, there is trouble. Or to keep them and protect them from the worst fate, one can say charity. Now, this is a question even to you or I. The Levi Strauss faces two problems. If we keep this, we are contravening human rights law that underage should not be used in business. If we start them, they will be impoverished and they may be forced to go into prostitution. What do we do? A change is to come into Levi Strauss. And how do Levi Strauss handle this change? A creative solution is required. And this creative solution cannot be found in yes or no. If Levi Strauss answer that situation by saying yes, they will not be creative. If they answer it by saying no, they will still be in the same problem. So see what I said here? I said a creative solution is neither the case. Not to fire and not to hire. So what did Levi Strauss have to do? Levi Strauss did something very spectacular that the world applauded them for. They decided to keep the children on payroll while they went to school full time, not even part time. And when they reached 14th year, which is the local age of maturity in Bangladesh, Levi Strauss hired them back, what is called rehire. Underage, yes. In school, full time.
So when they now finish,
not when they finish, when they attain the age of 14. Because in Bangladesh, you can't work when you are less than 14. So what Levi Strauss put, keep them on payroll and ask them to go to school. Levi Strauss didn't send them to school, but ask them to go to school. So as they are schooling, they are receiving salary as if they are working. And once they attain 14th year birthday, Levi Strauss rehire them through those their companies, contractors. In this case, you cannot accuse Levi Strauss of using child labor because they are no longer working for them. And you cannot say that they sacked them. They didn't sack them because they are paying them. Now, I say that this is creative thinking. Innovative response offers creativity. The emotional foundation of the innovator at work is originality. The emotional foundation of innovator at work is originality. And some of these are some of the things we expect from Nigerian managers. It is not every time fuel increase at 10 naira, you change the price of your product. It shows lack of originality. Should that not be a way you can think creative to absorb that cost without shifting price of your product? If Levi Strauss is a Nigerian company now, they would have done one of those things, either to sack those people or to continue using them and ask you to go to court. And when you go to court, they buy judges. Are you getting the problem? Okay. or they try to influence legal system. Now, I said again, emotional foundation of the innovator at work is to be original, is originality. They realize this, that what works in the past is not always the answer to the future. What works in the past is not always the answer to the future. Now, it is important to know the place of creativity or innovativity. And the lack of it, the deficit of creativity or innovativity, go far beyond lack of imagination. When people are deficit in risk-taking, people that are deficit in risk-taking become critics and naysayers, defensive and cautious. They're rising from undermining innovative ideas. There is always this natural tension that exists between self-control and the innovative urge. And I say that self-control is the sense of following the rules, predict ascertain performance in large organizations, especially where bureaucratic sense is being things rewarded. But organizations should not be overly controlled, because overly control predicts failure in creative jobs. Self-control can be needed, but overly control should predict failure, should be avoided, especially in creative jobs like advertising and entrepreneurship. People are supposed to be allowed to use their brain. Innovative is both mental and emotional. So innovative means finding new use for something old. It is finding new use to something in the already existing market. To say this is innovative. If I can find a new use of this thing, I can say to be innovative of this. Creativity is bringing something that has not been into life. Okay. They are similar in that something is being brought into existence. But creativity means it has not existed. At least it has not existed that way. At least it has not existed that way. Even if it has existed somewhere, it has not existed that way. That is creativity. But innovative means trying to find a new use for that thing that is already existing there.
When you started, you mentioned that some people they resist change. So I'm just understand why somebody or why a group of people want to resist change when that change will possibly bring a positive impact on you or on the organization. Is it that they are scared of the risk or what?
Yes. Every person, including you and I, resist learning new things. Every person. Nobody wants to be learning new things. Somehow, you will like to be master in what you have, not to be learning new things. And somehow also people are uncertain of the unknown. Okay. So every resistance is natural. It is trying to fight the unknown. It's trying to make sure the unknown don't take you unaware. Many years ago, I worked in a company that was one of the leading oil service firms. One day, our union, Benghazi is petroleum senior staff association, something like that. So one day, emergency meeting was called during break time by our Benghazi chairman. all of us compared in the meeting hall where we meet. And he read a letter to us written by management and circulated after reading. The letter keeps going around for every person to read us. Now in that letter, the management was asking us that they are giving us an offer. And what is the offer? Offer to build a canteen for us inside the company premises and to offer us a meal ticket instead of us sponsoring our bread from our pulse. Offer us maybe 40% meal ticket. So if you give 1,000 naira to it means the company has paid 400 naira. So now that looks like a very good offer. Now we read it and the meeting was about to close. We accepted it and just the chairman said, let us stand up and let somebody lead us in prayer. I said, excuse me. Because in that meeting, I didn't think so much what could be wrong. But immediately he said that I have something to say. I said, okay, hold your prayer, the person to pray. What do you want to say? I said, I'm trying to think. I'm still thinking. I haven't come up with what to think. I'm just buying time. I said, but I'm trying to think. Just let us be slow. I'm trying to think. And he said, okay, think now. I said, what I'm trying to think is, what brought this kind of offer in this time? I'm trying to think that something must be under that we have not understood. Why will management want to all of a sudden start giving us? And they didn't add it in our payroll. All of a sudden they will now put it on the mail ticket and give to us. What makes the management to stop us walking across the gate? And now they want us to be having a campaign. I'm thinking something should be wrong. The chairman said everybody should sit down again, sit down, let's hear everybody has to sit. We stop the prayer. Because once you pray, everybody will now go. Everybody has started also thinking the way I'm thinking. So the chairman said everybody should sit down, let's hear Mr. Man. I said, I'm thinking that you remember that this company, by 7 o'clock, any person who comes late is marked absent. And everybody will go by 5. By 5, the gate doesn't open. It is only this 1 o'clock, 12 to 1, that we meet our girlfriend outside. It is only this time we meet our boyfriend for the one of you that are women. It is only this time we meet our uncles and our who come to visit us for help. This company doesn't permit us receiving visitors inside the premises. We only meet them at the security point. And our security point looks like a hall any afternoon because too many people come to see people. Remember, it is at this break time that we even go to bank. Oceanic Bank is the next bank. That time it is called Oceanic Bank. Is it Oceanic Bank? Yes. It's not Ecobank. Yes, it's Oceanic. That was it is this time we go to Africa. For some of us who go to Africa, if we don't go to this bank, there is no way we can send money to our relations. If these people do this thing, they will lock this gate from 7 to 5. No person will pass it. Every person carry his head like this. What were we thinking before? And if we have accepted and wrote this letter, we are in prison forever. I said this offer is not good. Let's write the management that let's continue the status quo the way it is. We are comfortable with eating rubbish anywhere it is fine. That's our 1 hour. We use it to accomplish so many things. This company is so dictatorial and so mean on employees. It's only that 1 hour we have as our free time. Everybody say, wow, why are we not thinking like this? Now, the organization is bringing a change. And we need to look at it, accept it or resist it. In this case, he resisted it. Why did we resist it? We discover it will not go down well. So some resistances are good. It needs to be. Why some resistances are not good? Now, if management could have communicated to us by saying, let's sit down with you people to know if you people will have any objection so that we can try the objection, they would have considered. Are you getting it? But because they refuse, they find it too big to come and sit with us, we reject it outrightly and ask the Bengali chairman, rise them, tell them thank you, sir, for the goodness, for the offer, but tell them we rejected the offer. And that was the end of the matter. Up to today, that company don't have a result. They are now at Adaptability, the other part of Adaptability, the ordinance up to now. And the new staff will not know the man called Michael 20 years ago who stopped it.
Yes.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
So that is resisting change. Most times, some resistances to changes are good. Yes, because sometimes it is good. And it is born out of people who were there. And how many of the cases I can give you as we continue. Now, innovative is both cognitive and emotional. Now, for every creativity or innovation, it is on both sides of human ability. Emotional and mental. The mental is the logical side of it. The logical side of it. That is the intelligent quotient side of it. To articulate an idea, my God, is an intelligent thing. To articulate a new idea requires a lot of intelligence. It requires a lot of logic. It takes intelligent quotient to do that. But to see that idea mature, to go through the process of incubation, to go through the process of manipulating it until it is perfect, is an emotional thing. No longer intelligent thing, emotional thing. So, coming up with creating insight is cognitive act, but realizing its value, nurturing it, following it through emotion, through is emotional competence. And what are the competencies that are going with that emotional side? Confidence, initiative, persistence, and the ability to persevere. These are competencies that must have mentioned to you under emotional competence. So, throughout creativity, it requires or demands self-regulation. Remember, EI principle 3, self-regulation, competency. A man called Jules Henry proposed a model of basic 4 stages of creative art that still holds true today. They are: number 1, preparation. 4 stages of creative art that goes with today. Number 1, preparation. That is immersing yourself in problems, gathering broad range of information, assembling information from here and there, and data and information. Mostly this stage will load to frustrated unpacked. There is a lot of possibilities, but no insight. Gather the information here. Number 2 stage is incubation. When you gather information and data, information and possibilities seem and they begin to feel like you begin to cook vegetables. When you begin to cook vegetables, you discover that vegetable that is at the brim of the pot begins to reduce. We call it simmer. It begins to reduce. So those information you gather and possibilities that full everywhere, when you begin to look at them critically, you see they begin to reduce. We let the mind play, we let the daydreaming to go, we let the free association, we do the brainstorming, we begin to harvest the ideas and begin to have things reduce. So at the end, we begin to have things more real. We say that this is going through incubation period. You don't run with idea the first day you get the idea. You need to let it go through what we call gestation period. The third one is illumination. When the creative idea has been going through incubation, you need some lighting. Illumination means bringing light. These are moments where the breakthrough insight comes in. It's a thrilling moment, a moment of combination, a moment where you get further light, further insight in what you are doing. But this illumination is not enough. Most people's idea in life comes as illumination. So you need the last one, which is execution. This is where action is finally consummated. Execution is following through with action. Execution is following through with action. This demands dogged persistence. Despite all odds, despite all opposition, despite all discouragement, despite all everything, to get your work through. To get through against all setbacks, against all the road trials, against all the road failures, to get the work done. I have mentioned communication, you remember? I have mentioned adaptability. I have mentioned innovation. I have mentioned creative thinking. I have mentioned executive empathy. I have mentioned heightened awareness. I'm going to mention the next, and maybe from the next I give you break. This is criticism.
A lot of people like but it's very necessary. I love you. I'm always very open to this.
Wonderful. Good. Now, the next problem on capitalizing creativity is using words to bet on. Now, this is very important issue. Words to bet on. See this case. You must have heard of the man called Newton in physics. I know you didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
You run away.
Yeah.
You remember laws of motion. This is the man behind it. That all bodies continue in each state of uniform motion unless compelled by an external force to move otherwise. Newton laws of motion. That's Newton. He has the same laws of motion. The laws of that is acceleration due to gravity.
Yes.
Motion is also there, yes. We also need India, including Galileo. The law of acceleration due to gravity. 9.8 mx. Now, one area many people didn't know as the Newton is that he played a lot of role in optics. They know him more in motion. That is motional physics. That is physics. Motion is an aspect of physics that do with the movement, dynamics. But also Newton played a very lot of role in published powerful works on optics. Optics is aspect of physics that do with light. Now, Newton is said to have been so sensitive to criticism that he withheld his publication of a paper on optics for 15 years until his major critic died. Can you imagine? A man has a paper to publish. He was fearing his critic. For 15 years he kept the paper. So until Satan or God killed his critic. Now he went and published it. Now What if that man didn't die? He would have kept holding the paper. Can you imagine? Why?
He was
Scared of English. Right? Yes, he was a journalist. Can you imagine that being a journalist was not even immune me from starting stupidity? So for 15 years, what if that kid didn't die? He would have still been taking the paper. What? I don't want this man to start criticizing me again. This man criticized my work of motion, criticized many of my work. But even as that man criticized his work, was his work not still published? His motion was what we know today is physics. Starts with Isaac Newton. Acceleration, velocity, speed. Formula for acceleration. These are things that develop this formula. Now, we want to talk about criticism. So, Isaac Newton was one man who feared criticism. Now, managers who work with creative people or groups can help those groups by nurturing the tendency of new possibilities, by protecting them from too withering criticism that comes too early. You know the meaning of English word tendency? Tendency. You know, you see a yam when a yam is growing. That soft part that is growing on. It's definitely green. That tender thing that if you touch it can go. We call it tendency. The tendency of new possibilities, the fragility of the opinion. So the strength of the new possibility by protecting them. Good managers will be able to protect them from withering criticism. Because if the critic, first of all, steps in first, they can destroy the possibility. When creative ideas are offered, I normally suggest and I normally allow in my organization to allow those who have positive things to say them before people who have the negative side to say. We will collect the information of the good and bad, but let those who have positive things talk first. Did you get the point? If you allow those that have the negative things to talk first, they may destroy those who have the positive things to say first. Now let me give you an example. So I said be careful of creativity killers. Now let me give you a case. In the late 1970s, that is about 40 years ago, or 50 years ago, there was a company called Ranceros. You know Ranceros? You don't know a photocopy called Ranceros. They are one of the foremost photocopy companies in the world. Currently, they may not be the best, but they started photocopy. In fact, their advert is Xerox taught the world to photocopy. Their advert is Xerox taught the world to photocopy, and it is true. They were the first company to produce photocopy machine. They were the first company in the world also to produce electric printer. But they had a problem. That problem is what we want to look at now. In the late 70s, Xerox created 6 prototypes of letter printers. The best of its kind in the world. No company has created it before. And they loaned one of the 6 to an organization called MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, to try out. That is experimental and to know how to do it. That, as the MIT said, this is fabulous. That means this is great. And some vice presidents at Xerox ignored the opinion and decided not to pursue the dream. Did you get it? Vice president is what Americans call executive director. That is the director. Why they call MD president. So when you see the word vice president in American companies, they refer to executive director. And when you hear the word president, they refer to MD or CEO. So the staff said this is fabulous. And some executive directors at the Ceros ignored the opinion and decided not to pursue the dream. Canon was the first to bring letter jet printer to market in those 8 times, and Ceros lost a crucial head start on $1 billion market. Can you imagine the stupidity? Because those to bet on were stupid enough not to have gone on with what MIT staff recommended, that this is fabulous. Go on. The VP ignored the opinion of not pursuing this because maybe they had dream killers in their organization. But an external organization, they gave that thing to look into, say this is wonderful. Go on. And externally, they have dream killers. And their dream killers made them to kill their dreams. Look at this statement I made here. Voice of Doubt has a younger brother called Voice of Indifference. Voice of Doubt. So Ranceros had Voice of Doubt. They had inside their company Voice of Doubt. And that Voice of Doubt has younger brother called Voice of Indifference. What makes organizations to kill their dreams? 4 things. 4 things. Number 1, surveillance. Number 2, evaluation. Number 3, over control. Number 3, relentless deadline. And I define each of them. Number 1, surveillance. This means hovering and constant scrutiny. Hovering and constant scrutiny. Humanity is not always comfortable with constant scrutiny. Scrutiny means examination. Scrutiny means close examination. Humanity is not always comfortable with hovering and constant close examination. This equals the essential sense of freedom. It equals the freedom needed for effective thinking. Any person you observe constantly close his mind ended up not being a good thinker. Are you getting it? Yes. Yes. You need to know how to supervise people, but not to checkmating like that. That is what we call micromanaging. Humanity resists micromanaging by purpose. Now, micromanaging is, as I am talking, you have never seen Uju enter here to check me up. Did you notice that? If you still have entered here and checked me up after 3 or 4 times, I will be uncomfortable. Now, you give people liberty, you give people freedom to make mistakes or to do things. Now, surveillance destroys creativity. And surveillance means hovering. You know what the English word hovering means? Hovering. Every now and then you hover. Hovering. And it's not enough. You add it again. Constant. Scrutiny. Scrutiny itself means close examination. So it kills skills. And it stifles, it suffocates, it chokes essential freedom that are needed in being creative. Every creative thinker is a freedom man. Is a person who enjoys latitude of freedom. When you remove freedom from creative people, they die. You choke them off. Number 2 is evaluation. Evaluation means critical view that comes too soon or too intense. Now, when people are working, definitely they will come with a result or output. They will come with a product. But they don't need it, you don't need them to bring it too sudden or too soon or too intense. Give them time. Give them time. Anytime you don't give people time, you are making them to work under evaluation. Evaluation means a critical view that comes too soon. The view is not too bad, but a critical view that comes too soon, and it is also too intense. Creative ideas should be critiqued, good, and fine-tuned. You know the difference between critique and critique? Criticizing and critiquing. Criticizing and critiquing. You know there are different critiquing and criticizing. You know they are spelling. If you know they are spelling, you are not something like that. Critiquing and criticizing. One is destructive, one is constructive. A particular thing can be criticized, it can also be critiqued. I can say, oh, black dress is fine. But you know, black dress normally cannot help me to see in the night. What am I doing? Okay, look at that sentence. Now let me give you another statement. Black dress is so black and it's like a color of a star, a bitumen on the road. In fact, people who wear black dress, you may not distinguish them from darkness or from... No, I'm not giving a good example. Take it again. Let me give you an example again. Your black dress, I like it. And in the night, I may not pick your dressing because it is black. Okay. Then another one is black dress. This black dress is like the color of a dark road. In the night, I may not see it. Now tell me the two sentences. Which one? How do you see the two sentences?
Okay. If you said one part of it is appreciating black dress, while the other part of it is like saying something bad or talking down on black dress. So it's like the critique is the good part that they're telling me, oh, this dress is nice. Then you're not telling me that, oh, I cannot differentiate between you and the star road. That is the criticism. That is bad word.
Two of them have something in common. What they have in common is that I'm having a deep analysis.
Okay.
A deep look at black dress.
Yeah.
Now, but then they have differences. In one, I am critiquing that black dress is dark in the night, but I'm putting it in a very good light.
Yeah.
That I cannot separate you and that where there are no light. Yeah. In that case, you can understand what I mean. Yeah. That what I mean is that in the dark I should wear something like that color. Now, you won't get offended on that first one, though I am still looking at it deeply. Now, but the second one, I said that black dress is like the color of a star. That person wearing it and star road can be so. That one can make you get angry. In that way, it is not constructive. You will even get angry while I'm insulting you. But the first one, you didn't get angry because I put it in a light mode. So one is critiquing, while one is But both of them, you have learned something. Don't wear black in the night.
Yes.
Are you getting it? In both of them, I passed a message that in the night it will be better to wear something brighter that is not easy. So, criticism is instructive. It makes the person to lose self-confidence. Makes the person not to be confident of himself. So I said creative ideas should be looked from the angle of critiquing and fine-tune. You know, when you are tuning a radio station in those days of analog, you keep tuning until it enters the frequency. And when it enters the frequency, you see that the sound comes out better. Now fine-tune. Not all creative ideas are good. And not all are promises or can be refined or honed by every view. But evaluation is counterproductive when it leads to preoccupation with being judged. Why will evaluation be bad when the essence, when the goal is to be preoccupied by judging somebody? Let the essence of it not be to judge somebody. The other creativity killer is over control. I said that self-control is good, but over control is not good. Micromanaging every step of the way is what they call over control. You are checking whether the person is doing that, whether he's doing that or not. It's like surveillance. Over control fosters an oppressive sense of constriction, which discourages originality. Relentless then life. This is again another intense thing. This is an intensive schedule that can create panic. While some pressure can be motivating, you know, pressure can create a form of motivating people.
Sometimes.
Yes.
But sometimes it can just bring unnecessary stress. And if people don't have this perspective that we're living now, you will not be able to do anything. You just organize. Because when your boss comes to tell you, I need to people to secure it now, like right now, and maybe you have that thing filed on, and you know that if you don't do those things, your boss will come back and still yell at you. So if you don't apply emotional intelligence, you may just
good, that is it. So while pressure can be motivating, deadlines and goals can focus attention. They can keep in better ideas. Sometimes when I give people something to do, I don't put pressure on time, especially services. Especially services. When I ask people to do some services for me, either in the building or in the office or wherever, I may ask the person, when do you think you can finish? The person tells me 2 or 3 days, I say, take 5. Are you getting it? Why am I doing that? Let me not do that I put you under pressure. Even sometimes when I ask them, okay, go and do it. When that time is, I ask the person, please take more time. Make sure you don't rush. So, it makes me to make sure that you have no reason to mess up my day. Because when people mess up your work, they will tell you, you are putting pressure on me, you are asking me to do this and that. In that case, it makes the person not to have reason. So, what time is it now? Let's try to do some breakout on this. I think to do more workout. Where I will put it is this way. Where I will put it is this way. The topic